Over the past 48 hours, something extraordinary has unfolded behind closed doors in Sacramento. While mainstream media sleeps, a single miscalculation by Governor Gavin Newsom has triggered a chain reaction that nobody saw coming. What you're about to discover reveals how one man's arrogance just handed Elon Musk the perfect weapon to dismantle an entire political machine. And the countdown has already begun. Inside the governor's mansion, confidence radiates from every corner. Newsom sits at the head of a polished mahogany table, surrounded by his most trusted advisors. The mood is celebratory. Documents scattered across the surface detail the newest executive order, one that was supposed to be the final blow against Musk's empire in California. The plan seemed flawless on paper. Tighten environmental regulations on SpaceX operations, expand FTC oversight on X's business practices, and quietly coordinate with the DOJ to launch investigations into Tesla's federal contracts. One senior advisor leans forward and says, "Governor, this is checkmate. Musk has nowhere to go." Newsom smiles, lifts his glass, and replies, "He should have thought twice before challenging me publicly." But what Newsom doesn't know in that moment is that his strategy contains a fatal flaw, a mistake so basic, so reckless, that it will unravel everything within 72 hours. 300 miles south, at X headquarters, Elon Musk sits alone in a dimly lit conference room. His phone buzzes with an encrypted message. The sender remains anonymous, but the content is explosive. Attached is a leaked internal memo from the California governor's office, dated just days earlier. The document outlines the entire coordinated plan against Musk's companies. But that's not the most damaging part. Buried within the memo are specific references to communications between Newsom's team, the DOJ, and a shadowy network of political operatives tied directly to Barack Obama's inner circle. The memo uses phrases like economic containment strategy and pressure points to force compliance. Musk reads it twice. His expression hardens. He forwards the document to his legal team with a single instruction: prepare everything. We go public in 48 hours. While Musk strategizes his countermove, the machinery of institutional power hums quietly in Washington. At DOJ headquarters, officials convene an emergency closed-door session. The topic: accelerating investigations into Musk's companies under the pretense of regulatory compliance. But recent leaks suggest something far more coordinated. Sources inside the department confirm that pressure from California's political elite has intensified over the past few weeks. One official, speaking on condition of anonymity, reveals, "This isn't about law enforcement. This is political targeting dressed up as oversight." The DOJ has opened at least 3 separate inquiries into SpaceX contracts, Tesla's autopilot systems, and X's content moderation policies. None have produced actionable evidence, yet all remain active. The goal appears clear: create enough legal chaos to drain resources, distract leadership, and force Musk into submission. Meanwhile, at the Federal Trade Commission, Chair Lina Khan prepares to execute her part of the strategy. Khan, a longtime critic of big tech and a rising star in progressive circles, has made no secret of her intentions to rein in what she calls unaccountable corporate power. Her team has drafted a 247-page complaint against X, alleging anti-competitive practices and consumer protection violations. The document is scheduled for official filing within the week. Khan personally reviews the final draft, her confidence unshaken. She tells her deputy, "Musk thinks he's untouchable. We're about to prove otherwise." But what Khan doesn't realize is that her aggressive tactics are about to backfire spectacularly, because across the country, a different kind of power is stirring. In Mar-a-Lago, President Donald Trump sits in his private office, reviewing intelligence briefings prepared by his transition team. Among the documents is a detailed report on the coordinated campaign against Elon Musk. Trump's advisors have flagged the situation as a critical test case for what they describe as weaponized government. Trump picks up his phone and places a call directly to Musk. The conversation lasts 17 minutes. No official record exists, but sources close to both men confirm the essence. Trump pledges full support, promises immediate action upon taking office, and warns that anyone involved in the targeting will face consequences. Trump's exact words, according to one insider, were, "They're not just coming for you, Elon. They're coming for everyone who won't bow down. We're going to end this." Back in California, the streets tell a different story. In Silicon Valley, tech executives privately express alarm at Newsom's overreach. Several major companies have already begun relocating operations to Texas, Nevada, and Florida. Over the past 18 months, California has lost 12 Fortune 500 headquarters. The economic impact is staggering. An estimated $37 billion in lost revenue, 48,000 high-paying jobs relocated, and a rapidly deteriorating business climate. One venture capitalist, speaking at a private dinner, says bluntly, "Newsom is driving innovation out of the state. If he takes down Musk, we're all next." Social media erupts with support for Musk. The hashtag Free Speech Matters trends nationwide within hours. Boycotts against California-based companies perceived as aligned with Newsom begin to gain traction. In Los Angeles, a grassroots organization launches a petition demanding the governor's recall. Within 48 hours, it collects over 200,000 signatures. The consequences of Newsom's miscalculation begin to cascade. Financial markets react swiftly. Tesla stock surges 6% in a single trading session as investors bet on federal intervention to protect Musk from state-level harassment. SpaceX secures 2 new major contracts with the Department of Defense, signaling confidence from military leadership despite political turbulence. X announces a major partnership with international media networks, expanding its global footprint beyond U.S. regulatory reach. Meanwhile, California's bond rating faces a downgrade review as analysts warn of the state's increasingly hostile business environment. Pension funds tied to California's economy lose billions in valuation. Newsom's approval rating drops 8 points in a single week, the steepest decline of his governorship. His presidential ambitions, once seen as inevitable, now appear increasingly fragile. But Newsom isn't backing down. Instead, he's doubling his bet. In a hastily arranged press conference, the governor attacks Musk directly, accusing him of trying to bully the state and spreading misinformation. Newsom declares, "No billionaire is above the law in California. I don't care how many rockets he launches or how many followers he has. We will enforce our regulations and we will protect our citizens." The statement is defiant, confident, almost theatrical. But it reveals something crucial. Newsom still doesn't grasp what's coming. He still believes the institutions will protect him. He still thinks the media will carry his narrative. He still assumes Musk will eventually fold under pressure. That assumption is about to shatter. Because behind the scenes, Musk's legal team has compiled something devastating. A comprehensive dossier over 300 pages long, documenting every instance of coordination between Newsom's office, federal agencies, and political operatives. The dossier includes emails, text messages, internal memos, and recorded phone calls. It details payments from special interest groups to Newsom-affiliated political action committees. It exposes the timeline of regulatory decisions that curiously align with Musk's public criticisms of California policy. It names names. It follows money. And it reveals a pattern of behavior that legal experts say could constitute abuse of power, potentially even criminal conspiracy. Musk's strategy is methodical. First, he files a federal lawsuit against the state of California, the DOJ, and the FTC, alleging coordinated harassment, First Amendment violations, and selective enforcement. The suit seeks an immediate injunction halting all investigations. Second, he releases portions of the dossier to independent journalists, bypassing mainstream media entirely. The information spreads like wildfire across alternative news platforms, podcasts, and social media. Third, he activates his vast network of allies in tech, finance, and politics. CEOs begin issuing statements condemning regulatory overreach. Senators demand congressional hearings. Conservative media amplifies the story relentlessly. Within 72 hours, Newsom's calculated attack has transformed into a public relations disaster. The narrative has flipped entirely. Now the governor isn't the hero standing up to a reckless billionaire. He's the villain abusing government power to silence political opposition. The institutions he relied upon to provide cover, the DOJ, the FTC, the media, suddenly find themselves under intense scrutiny. Questions emerge about impartiality, due process, and the weaponization of regulatory authority. Calls for investigations into the investigators grow louder. And then, the knockout blow arrives. A federal judge, appointed during the previous administration but known for his strict interpretation of constitutional law, issues a preliminary ruling. The court finds sufficient evidence of potential First Amendment violations to warrant an immediate temporary injunction. All state and federal investigations into Musk's companies are frozen pending a full hearing. The judge's written opinion is scathing. He writes, "The pattern of coordinated action described in the plaintiff's filings raises serious concerns about whether governmental authority is being wielded as a weapon against protected speech and lawful business activity. This court will not permit such abuse to proceed unchecked." The decision sends shockwaves through political and legal circles. Legal scholars call it a landmark moment in the battle between individual rights and state power. Newsom's team scrambles to respond, but the damage is done. The governor's political capital evaporates almost overnight. Democratic donors begin distancing themselves. Major newspapers publish editorials questioning his judgment. Even allies within his own party privately express frustration, fearing that Newsom's personal vendetta has now become a liability for the broader progressive movement. One Democratic strategist, speaking anonymously, says, "Gavin thought he could make an example out of Musk. Instead, Musk made an example out of him." In Chicago, behind closed doors, Barack Obama watches the chaos unfold. The former president, still considered the intellectual architect of the Democratic establishment, has remained largely silent throughout the escalating conflict. But those close to him say he's deeply concerned. Obama reportedly warned Newsom months earlier that targeting Musk could backfire, that the optics were dangerous, that the legal ground was shaky. Newsom, confident and ambitious, dismissed the advice. Now, Obama finds himself managing fallout he predicted but couldn't prevent. Phone calls are made, strategies are revised, damage control begins. But the reality is undeniable. The machine stumbled, and Musk exposed it. The broader implications of this moment extend far beyond one billionaire and one governor. This is a turning point in the ongoing war between centralized institutional power and individual autonomy. For decades, political elites have used regulatory agencies as tools to enforce compliance, silence dissent, and consolidate control. They operated under the assumption that wealth alone couldn't overcome the combined force of government, media, and cultural institutions. But Elon Musk represents something they didn't anticipate. A figure with resources, reach, and an absolute refusal to comply. He doesn't need their approval. He doesn't fear their threats. And most dangerously, he has the platform to expose their tactics in real time. This isn't just about California's business climate or one man's companies. This is about whether free speech can survive when institutions decide it's inconvenient. This is about whether innovation can flourish when bureaucrats weaponize regulations. This is about whether ordinary citizens can trust their government to act impartially, or whether power will always bend toward those who control the levers. And Newsom's fatal mistake? It wasn't underestimating Musk's wealth. It wasn't misjudging his influence. It was assuming that the old playbook still worked in a world where information travels instantly, where decentralized networks challenge institutional narratives, and where one person with conviction can rally millions. The game has flipped, and the implications will echo for years to come. Because when this story reaches its final chapter, historians won't remember it as the time California tried to regulate a billionaire. They'll remember it as the moment the machine broke, the moment ordinary people realized that power could be challenged, the moment courage became contagious. The story doesn't end here. This is just the beginning of a much larger battle. The forces that aligned against Musk haven't surrendered. They've regrouped. They're planning their next move, and the stakes are about to get even higher, because what happens next will determine not just Elon Musk's future, but the future of freedom itself in America. So here's what you need to do right now. If you believe that free speech matters, if you believe that government power must be accountable, if you believe that courage deserves to be amplified, then you are part of this story. Write in the comments. Truth wins. Let the algorithm see that this message resonates. Share this video with 3 people who need to understand what's really happening. Subscribe and hit the bell, because the next chapter of this saga drops soon, and you won't want to miss it. The mainstream media won't tell you this story. The establishment doesn't want you to know. But together, we're making sure the truth gets out. You're not just watching history unfold, you're part of it.